58% of U.S. women of reproductive age now live in states hostile to abortion rights. That's some 40 million women. The battle for abortion rights has indeed galvanized voters for the first time in the nation's history, but to what extent? To talk more about that, we've got Annette Young, the host of the 51%, with me on the set. You've just filmed a special in the U.S. about this highly polarizing issue. Just first of all, Annette, what's at stake for abortion rights, both on a federal and a state level in the midterms?
Well, on the federal level, as we just heard there from our guest, obviously the key thing is who's going to win control of both houses. At the moment, the Democrats, of course, have control of the House of Representatives. They tie 50-50 in the Senate. But that, of course, could change by this time tomorrow, depending on the results of those midterms. US President Joe Biden has been challenging people to go out there and vote for the Democrats in order to give them 2 more senators. And if they do so, that would allow the party then push through legislation that would codify and protect national abortion rights for all women. Now, on the Republican side, you've got a group of very influential Republicans who say, give us the votes so that we can ensure and push forward a national abortion ban. Now, on the states level, what happens is with the midterms, they allow states to attach their own ballot box measures. And there are 5 states who are looking at the issues of abortion. 3 of them, California, Michigan and Vermont, are looking at enshrining, protecting abortion rights. 2 of them, Kentucky, which is where I was, and Montana, are looking to even enforce greater restriction on abortion. And in addition to all of this, you've also mentioned the fact state governor positions, state attorney general positions, a number of them are up for election. And of course, it all depends on their position on abortion. So it might be at the moment the state doesn't have a position as such on abortion or is not toughening or doing the opposite. But if there's a change of, say, the state governor or attorney general, that indeed could change.
There's also been a surge of women registered to vote as well as a result of the Roe versus Wade decision. How have the parties been responding to that?
They were very much taken by shock, I think, by the response to Roe v. Wade. And they saw that back in August when Kansas held its own referendum to effectively pave the way for an abortion ban. What happened was the pro-choice movement moved in very quickly. They spent a lot of money, millions of dollars, and they managed to succeed. This is the key thing for the Democrats in getting an enormous majority of women to register as new voters. As a result, 70% of new voters in Kansas were women, and therefore, not surprisingly, that proposition was blocked. And I actually spoke to the woman who was responsible for that successful operation, who's been relocated to Kentucky. She spoke to us about what this all means.
I think that's true. I think for a lot of the past, few decades, abortion has really been viewed in American politics as a wedge issue, something that divides instead of unites us. It's been something that Republicans, I think, have run really hard on, and there's a lot of Republicans that have these really extreme positions, and there are many Democrats who have sort of shied away from making this a central issue and have chosen to just sort of put it in a corner and really isolate it and not talk about it. And I think there are people on both sides of the aisle that are surprised to see the huge reaction, but as
very much taken aback.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that what we've seen in Kansas and here in Kentucky is that the conversation around abortion in the United States is changing. This is an issue that is actually really unifying and uniting voters across the political spectrum instead of being so divisive the way that it has been seen in the past. So I think that's promising.
Annette, what have the polls been saying about this hot button issue?
Well, firstly, most opinion polls do say that somewhere around 2/3 of Americans basically want guaranteed abortion rights. And I have to point out at this moment, it doesn't mean just because you vote for the Republican Party or the Democratic Party that you have a pro or against view on this. It's really a grey zone, and this is why the 2 parties politically are struggling with this. How do you attract voters? And for instance, some of the Republican candidates have taken the issue off their website, because they know that it actually could be a negative for their campaigns, whereas the Democrats have actually been running TV ads, and which is the first time ever in the nation's political history. It is highly unlikely that either party, however, are going to win enough seats to pass a federal law either banning abortion or promoting abortion rights. And the other thing, of course, in recent weeks is the cost of living crisis. This is impacting everybody. So as a result, no surprise, abortion as a strong, hot-button issue has become less important to voters than obviously the economy. But we'll have to wait and see, because what is interesting, Michael Moore, the famed documentary filmmaker, who predicted that Donald Trump was going to win back in 2016, is now predicting that the Democrats will have a blue wave. So, who knows? Jeannie, I think you and I are going to be sitting here tomorrow, and I think we'll be surprised one way or other.
I'm sure we will. Annette, looking forward to having you back on the set tomorrow. France 24's Annette Young. And your show, The 51%, on that Kentucky abortion special is running now. You can check it out on the website if you like. That's france24.com. Thanks so much, Annette.
Thank you.